Welcome to another Lake Turn Automation RPA solution overview. In this video, we will provide an overview of a COVID-19 tracking tool we built as a service project for a local nonprofit. They needed a way to actively monitor local COVID-19 case counts so they could adjust in-person group gatherings as required. Since the start of the pandemic, there have been several challenges with monitoring COVID cases. First challenge, finding a consistent source for information. Partnering with our client, our team researched options and recommended data from the COVID Act Now organization. They are a nonprofit that partners with the Global Harvard Health Institute to provide standard COVID-19 data and risk information. Plus, their data is accessible via APIs, which our tool uses to pull in aggregate statistical data. The second challenge, aggregating and monitoring the information. How do you easily track the data over time and generate timely stakeholder alerts as required? Manually pulling and recording case counts every day is time-consuming and can cause delays in notification. These challenges equate to a prime use case for RPA automation. We built a bot that automatically retrieves the necessary information from the COVID Act Now website. In this example, the last update date and the daily new case counts are retrieved by our automation bot. And finally, the most difficult challenge of them all. As a business or nonprofit, how do you use the gathered information to make an informed decision? Unfortunately, there has been little guidance from the CDC for specific indoor gathering metrics, other than school recommendations at the start of the pandemic. As such, the nonprofit we assisted decided to use the original CDC school recommendations as a general framework to generate alerts and make decisions. However, our solution provides flexible alert metrics to support any notification model. Now that you understand the use case challenges, let's take a peek under the hood and see how this automation functions. This is looking at the actual automation steps inside the ElectroNeek Studio Pro development platform. Here, one can gain a quick understanding of the steps required for this automated workflow. This is the main execution loop that orchestrates all of the bots required for the automation. Comments have been added to the right to highlight main steps in the process. In summary, a bot first grabs the latest information from the COVID Act Now website. A bot then checks the Google Sheet we utilize to track the information to see if the Google Sheet data needs updating. If it does, a final set of bots updates the data on the sheet and sends out any email notifications that might be required for alerts. Now, let's jump over to the actual Google Sheet for an overview of how that functions. Here is the actual COVID response tracker tool we built using Google Sheets and have automated using the ElectroNeek RPA platform. Let's take a tour of its key components. As you can see, this sheet is currently tracking information for Franklin County, Virginia. COVID Act Now actually has every county in the United States inside their database, so this sheet can be easily updated to track any particular area required. As you can see here in the middle is a graph that contains the data that has been brought in by the bots over time. This tracker started back in July, and the dotted line indicates the daily case counts that the bots have grabbed off the website. The blue line is calculated within this tool. That's the 14-day rolling average for case counts. This helps smooth the data to better fine-tune the notifications the tool sends out. The three lines on the tool are the high, middle, and low range that this nonprofit has elected to monitor. As you recall, they have decided to follow the original CDC school guidelines. Net, if 14-day averages are below 50, they are okay. They don't need to be notified. However, as soon as the 14-day average exceeds 50, they would like to be notified so they can determine whether or not they need to modify their indoor gathering protocols. So this tool is again set at 50. Anytime the average case count crosses 50, which it did in late December, a notification is automatically sent out by the bots to the stakeholders, alerting them that the line has been crossed. Additionally, when the line goes back below the threshold, in this particular instance, as you can see, it dropped back below 50 after a couple of days, another notification email is sent out by the bots letting the stakeholders know that the trends are headed downward. The bottom of the graph contains some important information. As you can see here, it shows the last day that the graph was updated. This is currently yesterday. We're going to run the workflow in a moment to update this data for today. It highlights the current 14-day average case counts and the current daily case counts. It also, using the APIs, retrieves the cumulative case counts for the county as well as total deaths in the county being monitored. This bottom line allows you to custom configure the tool for your particular installation. The left field here is the notification email that the bots use to send out the stakeholder alerts when the red line is crossed, and these three ranges are customizable. As we discussed, the nonprofit has decided to use 50 as their alert threshold, but you could easily change this, say, to 65. As you can see, the line on the graph goes up, and the bots will then monitor this line for the email notifications. We're going to keep it at 50. I know from looking already that the daily case count has jumped again, and after we run the automated workflow, this is the 14-day average is going to cross 50, and an automatic alert is going to be sent out. So let's go ahead and run the automation and watch that happen. As the automation runs very fast in around 7 seconds, you're going to want to watch for progress in a small execution window that will appear in the bottom right of your screen. You'll first see the bot open the COVID Act Now website and retrieve the current data. We actually had to put a 3-second delay on this step so the video could capture the bot in action, as it normally happens in less than a second. As we discussed earlier, another bot will then update the Google spreadsheet and send out any email alerts as required. So let's give it a run and see what happens. There we go. So we're done. Let's jump over to the Google Sheet and see our updates. So now if you look at the Google Sheet that we reviewed moments ago, you can see that the date has updated to January the 4th. The 14-day average has jumped to 51.66, which has crossed the notification line of 50. So an email notification was sent out that we'll review in a moment, and the current daily case count jumped to all the way up to 91. As you can also see, both of these cells are highlighted in red, indicated they are above the threshold. So let's take a look at the email notifications and see what they look like. This first notification is the email that just went out moments ago. As you can see, it is a high threshold alert that the 14-day average is at 51.66, exceeding the threshold of 50. There's also a link that you can quickly use to jump to the Google spreadsheet and see the details. Now, when the 14-day average drops below the red line, another email will be sent out, a notification email letting folks know that the 14-day average has dropped below the threshold of 50. So that concludes our COVID Tracker automation overview. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or you would like to discuss specific automation challenges facing your organization. Otherwise, until next time, may your days be bright and your process burdens light.